100 people were directly affected by the tragedy. As we look at the day that still brings painful memories to many Ghanaians, some of the recommendations by the Justice Isaac Doche Committee have yet to be carried out. OneGhana Movement has initiated a class action against the National Petroleum Authority, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly and GOIL to seek compensation for the victims. We'll be hearing from them shortly. But first, Elton Brobe, who first chanced on some of the charred remains of the victims on his way home on that day, reports.
The loss that our nation has suffered is incomprehensible.
What started the night before as a heavy downpour at the center of the country's capital, Nkrumah, was aggravated after a nearby fuel station exploded in the downpour, leaving an estimated 159 Ghanaians lifeless, while scores also sustained varying degrees of burns and injuries. Whilst the rain was seen as a natural occurrence, the fire, which worsened the situation, was later said to have been caused by a cigarette smoker who dropped a lighter stub into water that had oil floating on top of it. Some victims of the disaster recounts the day.
So I was opposite of police station before the incident happened. I'm about to run before the fire catch me for the face. So I had to further into water, then I had to swim in the water and wake up. Because that night was horrible.
And I sat down and I'm because then the time the tanker blasted, then it drew me away to the other road. I didn't say anything again. They can't take me to hospital. I stayed in hospital about almost 6 months. All my head is also bent.
Apart from the irreplaceable human life lost, 5 houses, including the GOIL filling station at the Nkrumah, suffered various degrees of damage valued at 1.6 billion Ghana cedis. To prevent a future occurrence of the tragedy that hit the country on June 3rd, the Disaster Committee recommended the complete dredging of the door drain, a ban on the use of plastic as carrier bags, water dispensers, and cooked food containers.
A responsible moment, we have to do the right thing. On the 3rd, Accra had one of the highest level of rains, from which we lost, with the fire explosion, we lost 159 souls. Still counting.
People building in waterways, littering the drains, make it difficult for the flood water that comes from the mountains to reach the sea. And so we've created a human intervention between the source of the rivers and the sea where they are headed. We'll have to take some measures to be able to avoid this happening in the future.
Residents of Sodom and Gomorrah have built on the Kole. They have every day come in, fill it with sawdust, covered it with sand, and then built upon it. Now, if you can look around, this is what has been left of the Kole Lagoon. Everywhere you are standing here, and everything you are seeing here is right in the middle of the Kole Lagoon.
It also suggested standardized training, certification, and licensing of filling stations attendants, the creation of sanitation police, compulsory fitting of all commercial vehicles with refuse baskets or bins, and equipping of disaster managers with the requisite tools to effectively handle disasters. The committee also recommended the provision of air ambulances and helicopter firefighters, which should be managed by the Ghana Air Force, and a fund to cater for the injured and deceased families.
And we still remember that day like it happened just yesterday. As you heard in our report, the committee recommended the dredging of the Odo River. So what is the state of the basin which runs through Circle and parts of the Central Business District? Benjamin Akakbo was there and now reports.
As we continue our constituency and community project, today we find ourselves in the Klotekoli constituency, and we're going to be interacting with Hope Duamekpo. Thank you for joining the conversation.
Thank you too.
You've been resident in this community, at least you've worked here for over 30 years.
Yeah.
What are the woes you face every year?
Every year it's all about flood. Every year flood. Every year flood. Every year flood.
For the over 30 years you've been here?
Yeah, during Rawlings' regime, the flood came only 95, and that's it. Until recently, they've done a shoddy job here, which has cost us a lot. Every time when...
What is that shoddy job? Let's talk about it.
So there's a gutter that they've constructed, which the olden days, they've done it open, big. Now they've closed it, they make it narrow and then cover the top. So when it rains, even pure water, when you pour water on the floor, it will flood. So anytime when it's about to rain, I have to leave Abilinkpe. When I'm not at work, I have to come to work and move all the cars out of the yard before the whole place gets...
Wait, you're telling me all these cars we are seeing here, you have to move them out of this yard?
I move them out.
Why?
Because of the flood. I have to move them out. Otherwise, I may lose a lot of customers and money.
So basically, rainwater enters this place and it could take away the cars?
It covers the cars. Every car that here,
wow.
When it rains, all is covered. All is covered. The last rain, it was around my waist. Yeah, so I have to quickly move all the cars. The last car that I moved out was a 4x4 car. So that one, I managed to drive it out of the yard.
Around when was this? How many years ago?
Oh, it's not about a year, last year. Just last year. Every year when it rains, here get flooded.
So you have a member of parliament, of course, Dr. Zaneto Rawlings, and I'm sure over the years you've been complaining about the situation. What has been the outcome?
Oh, the last time that we questioned her about the construction of the gutter, she told us that what they were doing there is not good, it's wrong. But she said, the contractor said they know what they are doing.
Conversation.
Thank you very much, brother.
What's your name?
My name is Frimpong Maxwell Asibi.
Okay. Frimpong, what do you sell in this market?
Actually, this market generation from Novotel. But I'm the founder of Novotel Market. Transfer us, NDC time, we came here, this Odona. So I'm part of the market and at the same time, I'm the secretary of the market.
How long have you been here?
Almost getting to 20 years now. Here we are, we came here almost 10 years, 11 years with that. 10 to 11 years with that.
Okay, and in this period that you've been here, what has been the major problem of this community, or what are some of the major problems you've been facing here?
We have three major problems we are facing here. First is by the water here. If rainfall, this June, July, we are in headache. We are in big headache. But so far we are always accepting those kind of pressure and those kind of the problem we are in here. We always face it because it has been addressed that we well every year. We don't worry about that. But actually, we have been complaining several times. All stations in Ghana have been here complaining up to now. You see, the whole Kolikrote, this is the largest market of Kolikrote. If you walk through the Kolikrote, from this down straight to Osu down, this is the largest market. And I have always been saying that this place is a land of not even self. Because here is far non far. You see, every place there is a land. Even if they sell a land for you to build a room for a house, if you have to ask what a particular land. Government brought it here, but as we came here, nothing better has been gone. People, money has been, they have not been benefiting nothing from here. I brought almost 2,003 women, men 700. But today, all the women from the junction to the down there, you will not even get up to 800 or 700, which a lot of people go back to Abayi.
Why?
The reason is, if you are business or you are making business without benefiting, what do? You have to stop. Is that not it?
Community by community, constituency by constituency, we're highlighting the problems of ordinary Ghanaians hanging out around the Odo River Gutter. I call it a river gutter because there was a point where this was clear enough and there was even fish in here. Today, it's more of a gutter and filled with a lot of filth. We've engaged a lot of those who sell at the market and a lot of those right here who ply their trade at the bus station, the bus terminal. It is not a pleasant story. They are dreading the month of June because when it comes with the rains. And when the rains come, it can only mean one thing: flooding and disaster. Some of the very people we've interacted with will have to flee. And they are calling on government to come to their aid. From right here in the Odo area, Benjamin Akako reporting for Joy News.
Well, what has become of the victims? Civil society group OneGhana Movement has initiated a class action against the National Petroleum Authority, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly and GOIL to seek compensation for the victims. Let's take you through the statement that they just sent this afternoon. It says, torrential rainfall which affected most parts of the country turned into a devastating fire and flood catastrophe, resulting in the death of 154 people. Well, that's the summary of what happened. Hundreds, they say, suffered severe burns in the unfortunate incident which occurred on June 3. This marked a dark day in the history of Ghana, with surviving victims suffering permanent physical disabilities, which to date severely undermine their suitability for the job market. The report of the ministerial committee that investigated the disaster attributed it to the floods, poor safety practices at the GOIL filling station, and a cigarette spark by a person who has since been identified. Well, we still don't know who that particular person is. But the floods, according to the statement, were attributed to blockages in Accra's main storm drains, resulting from the non-desilting of the drains, as well as the building of settlement and habitation of squatters in the storm drains. The OneGhana statement continues to say that the lower part of the Odo River in the area known as Sodom and Gomorrah had been blocked by settlers who had reclaimed substantial portions of the Odo Channel and built houses, mosques, churches, and a market on it, thereby reducing the discharge capacity of the Odo Channel into the Korle Lagoon. Now, what the statement is doing right now is to lay down what caused this, according to the work of the committee. It says all these findings can be attributed to the human causes, for which there are regulatory bodies to ensure that the right statuses are enforced to prevent such disasters from occurring. Why then was no action taken to forestall this devastation? It is to this end that, in accordance with the OneGhana Movement Citizen Responsibility and Policy Accountability Objectives, the J4J3 project was launched on June 2, 2017 to pursue the following aims. 1. To increase transparency and accountability in public financial management. 2. To hold corporations, public officials, and institutions accountable. 3. To secure equitable compensation for the victims. 4. To encourage citizens' participation in governance and increase their engagement with national and local authorities. The victims and the OneGhana Movement have, through their lawyers, that is Dako, Kelly, Delata and Co., and A Partners at Law, commenced a class action against GOIL, the National Petroleum Authority, and the Accra Metropolitan Authority for their complicity in the disaster, which is why it laid down the reasons that caused this fire and flood disaster. It goes on to say that while the court case continues, it is our expectation that the pursuit of justice will not only result in the compensation to victims and their families, but will in the end punish officials found culpable. Even more importantly, it will drive the sense of accountability and responsibility on the part of citizens, corporate Ghana, and public officials. In so doing, the statement says the citizens will be emboldened not to allow their rights and privileges to be trampled upon. Public servants and politicians alike shall also realize that they will be held accountable for their actions or inactions. It concludes by saying, as the saying goes, the wheels of justice grind slowly, and though the J4, J3 case has been in court since 2018, we are staying the course and working to ensure that systems are put in place to guarantee that officials uphold their responsibility to the people of Ghana and work assiduously to execute their roles to the best of their abilities. So that's the statement of the OneGhana Movement. So as you've seen there, the case has been pending for some time now. We stay on this a little longer because government has assured that the next rainy season will see no flooding at Sekol and parts of the business district. MCE for Korle is sure that plans of a reconstruction of the drains will have been completed by then. According to him, government is already in talks with consultants to redesign the drains and the engineering works to avoid flooding. He was speaking at the 6th memorial of the June 3rd flood and fire disaster, which was held at Ground Zero here in Accra.
Since the burning of the market, government is trying as quick as possible to correct the engineering problem most people say is to do with the water flow from this community into the main Odo drain. One, apparently it meets where it is so. It meets the water from the mountains in the Moin at 90% angle. That needs to change. I think that is going to be corrected. And then also all the way from Paloma on the ring road, the water that comes through Asalam down to the main drain. We have the consultants, the Ministry of Works and Housing is working on reconstructing the whole drain from that side. They've started now, the processes are in place, and then the consultants have been to the assembly a few times. What they are trying to do is to start work now, and hopefully by the next rain, not this time around, they would have probably done the redesigning of the major drain that goes underneath the market before the rebuilding of the market can also start.
You're watching The Pulse with me, Gifty, and Dopia. Let's take a very quick break. We'll be right back.